May I help you, sir?
I'm gonna get Side town. Hey, it's the freedom of reason. Much love to everybody. Making a max of this rap is gluteus maximus, kicking ass. This is my MXs, there's no mattresses we'll use. I slept on the floor in my room just so I could have a little more space for the stoop. I get discouraged a lot, encouraged a lot, watch courage a lot, all because the surface was hot from doubts. I was looking for change through the seats and accounts. Started making nasty tracks like I wore cleats in the house. To get a little shine, flip the script and then dip on mine. Mix the shit so my chips on ground. Hit the spliff and that shit on mine. The great thoughts are AZ, go sound like Swayze, but filled with souls like Hades. Trying to get M's on M's like Sadie, Jay-Z, baby. Everybody with pastries. I'm trying to reach levels that God hasn't even seen.
Cities started to grow. Municipal governments started to figure out, okay, we need actually an arm of government that will protect our property. Now, this becomes important. I think this is really important in terms of the northern development of police forces. They are not first designed around the protection of people. They are centered in the protection of property first. And there were certain people who were targeted for or recruited to engage those particular duties. So that became Irish folks in Chicago. The first set of white Western European folks who were police officers were actually German, right? And then it transitioned to Irish. And same thing in New York City. So right, there were British folks and German folks who were your members of your first police force, and then it transitioned to Irish folks much later, right? So this is the same thing in Boston. And the like, right? Because it was still considered working folk or lower class occupation because you really were protecting property, right? So this is or you were on property watch, right? So it wasn't a job that was held in high esteem. So when we look at the development of police in the South, we see many extensions of that. Right? We see a lot of extensions of that, not just in terms of Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Rekia Boyd, the young person who was shot at the playground in Cleveland. First name was Tamir. So these things are these unfortunate, tragic events, but I think they have to be understood as a longer legacy. Right? It is understood as right and good to subjugate black bodies.
I'm not a number. I won't be the next Michael shot down for being brown. I want to live because I wasn't cursed with melody, but it's to be taken away. We all deserve to see another day, but right now it seems like we all deserve bulletproof vests, police-proof mindsets, and a place to vent. I want to live because my creator isn't ready for me to come home yet. I want to live because apparently if I wasn't meant to be here, I wouldn't be. So dear police, since my boyfriend, R.I.P., isn't here to speak, here's a line that'll make you think. You harass black men because you're one of the boys in blue, but it's still black on black violence because your gun is the same color as the man you decided to shoot. They say black people are so aggressive, just so they could throw you behind bars like a subliminal message. And isn't it coincidental that firing range targets are all black silhouettes? I want to live because I'm not.
I am excited and humbled and appreciative.
My name is Tim Toaster Henderson. I am a former youth poet with LTAB, also former coach, and now a teaching artist for young Chicago authors. I'm here to get the kids hyped and to remind them that this is a space for them to meet other artists their age, love themselves, and represent themselves in their city in the best way possible. It's my favorite place on earth, and I hope you make it when you get the chance.
Give it up for the first poet from Kuumba, Lynx!
dirty like pool sewer. Must be exposed to unsanitary living. Swim Coach Anonymous. Your words burn like chlorine. Racism kicks off tongue speaking into white privilege. Flood my black into being the sentence of animal descendants. You warned. I'm going to go black on you guys, just don't get offended. How fun it must be to swim laps around my culture. To Brother Mike Hawkins.
Hoes be selling caskets. Every card game is a fluke. Niggas die in fashion, cause we all of the same suit. Coin insert pools every we jackpot. Luck is an incohesive collection of questions that comes in the casino with such a cash-coming consequence.
Never connect the 9 heads that hung off the highway in my motherland and the 9 heads shot dead here. Cause it seems like we all dying for the same cause nowadays. All cocoa colored martyrs for a coca leaf and some Mary Jane strains. Come on! Pink smash paste, pack rap, transport.
Go! Hey! Boom, boom, fire!
Up high, flyer jets conform into catastrophic colonialists.
Government steers this cycle.
Nuclear atomics ready.
Torture, locked and loaded.
Drop thousands of feet.
Run! We ducking and dodging torment techniques.
Fire!
John Burge, Commander-in-Chief. He's patriotic patrol of practice, the pointing of missiles. 22 future shots in the current of electrical rock. 36 bodies bruised with sentence locked. 0. Number of times Burge experienced consequences. Mission accomplished.
I saw Moctezuma in my brother after he was ambushed by the boys in blue.
This termo mexicano beaten between color fill-ins and Puma
Or
kids.
stitches like Daniel Taylor's cry for help.
The time battery carved his casket with false confessions.
Felony arrest, art to repress. Ain't no rest in a race. The voice.
They bring chain cuffs up and we are bigger than a month on a rock.
Trauma. Interrogations for Burge burst in a false confession. 9,968,191 tax dollars spent on defending John Burge
Against claims
of police torture. It's coming. First time I saw a man burst into little boy. Between wetback and PhD. My father rolls down his window like he is supposed. The officer asked him to get out the car, assuming his brown couldn't be without traffic.
drugs couldn't be without his brown.
Michaels, melanin, poster child for police pension. After hours of questioning and searching, my father reminded me of institutional genocide, the deliberate death, torture of a people, bombs, blast, release of energy, breaking our sanity. Wherever black blood be, bullying my boys in blue is bound to bruise.
Every 28 hours they suspect.
Fire!
Seize,
Fire!
search,
Fire!
and criminalize. Reparations owed to the 110 black men. Badges are nothing but shooting stars.
So we run, fight, grip oxygen mask.
Protection from police who hinder respiratory airways.
Resist propelling nuclear poison.
Resist learning division through obsidian bars before 3rd grade. Resist, cause we punish for it anyway.
We need this land to acknowledge
And make amends. Dose, ready, aim, fire, bomb, blast, hit. If you don't want your civilians to ISIS, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, back at you. Are you coming to the streets? They shot down a boy. They said he was a thief. Strange things have happened here, and stranger would it be if we met at midnight in the murder streets. Don't preach about terrorism when you keep it breathing and beating.
I'll just say thank you a lot. Okay, well, overall, I think it just feels really surreal. Like, I feel like I'm dreaming. I wasn't even, like, paying attention when they announced that we won, and I just kind of figured out because everyone was jumping around. But I feel so blessed right now because the literary award and the poem that I did was very dear to me. And this is just a reminder that I have power, and I think oftentimes just as a young person, I feel very empowered, and this reminds me that I have power, and not just to tell my story, but to tell the struggle of people from all over the world, from my family.
it's really critical that this was called a reparations ordinance. And in this case, language matters quite a bit. This is the first time ever that any municipality in the entire history of the country has passed a law that has been a reparations law, a document, and now this law is an abolitionist vision of our future. We know we're going to continue to fight, and we have to fight, but you have to learn how to fight to learn how to win. You do. And the fact that so many young people in particular were part of pushing this ordinance means that I think some of them may be thinking that it's much quicker to win on things than really it is. And so that, in a weird way, I want to say, well, no, this doesn't usually happen. You usually lose a lot more than you win in organizing. So like your first foray in, you win something big, you're like, my God, this is kind of easy. No, that we don't want that. But you have to learn how to fight in order to learn how to win. And this experience, I think for many people was their first attempt, their first experience of learning how to fight for something.
This is Kuumba Lynx. It's a safe haven for self-expression through hip-hop. But more importantly, this is a second home for most of these kids.
It helps with keeping people off the streets. I think the most important thing is just really where you can be heard here. And I think that's, for youth, that's one of the most important things. You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
I believe that we will win. 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 I believe that we will win.
Where they can express themselves, they can address any teen or community issues that are happening.
Exactly 1 week after he was critically injured while being arrested in West Baltimore, Gray has died.
In our schools, on our streets, in our homes, down the corner, around the block, we're going to change the world, and we're going to do it together. It don't matter what color we are. It don't matter what size we are. It don't matter how old we are. It don't matter about none of that. What matters is peace for every mankind, period. And if we don't get it, we're going to shut it down.
The young people that come to our space are those that are attending schools that are underserviced or live in communities where there's not, arts resources or opportunities to make art.
So in a city that's hyper-segregated, with supposedly the most powerful mayor in the country, they said we couldn't have a trauma center, and what we do? They said that we can't hold police officers accountable, and what we doing? They said you can't stop a school from being closed and privatized, and what did we do?
To you and look up to you as a mentor, as a person that they want to aspire to be something great. It shows what I'm doing is bigger than me.
Get out of the car! And then you
was a dash cam video of 28-year-old Sandra Bland's arrest during a traffic stop on July 10th. 3 days after that traffic stop, Bland was dead in a Texas jail cell. But who's to blame for what happened?
Poetry with words is such a strong art that grabs attention, and I feel that telling stories, telling my stories, telling stories of people who never got the chance to tell their story is why poetry exists and why.
16 times! 16 times! 16 times! 16 times! 16 times!
Think about ourselves as gatekeepers. We've been charged with that mission. Having that responsibility feels good because I feel like when I go to sleep at night, I am trying to seek my purpose and live that.
Some protesters, we don't know if they're Trump supporters or protesters being led out of this arena right now.
I was amazed as to how they're like a parent, they're like my second home. And I had a lot of depression and anxiety in high school, and they would always take me in.
We are here today to answer the question of whether we will demand justice and fair dealing, or whether we will continue to be socially economically, psychologically, physically, and spiritually oppressed.
This is a space for young people to come together and navigate and try to figure out for themselves what all of this means.
Out of everything that went down during the Grammys, Kendrick Lamar's performance is probably the most notable because of the political message that his performance included.
Kuumba Lynx has made me into the person I am today.
stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.